down on the street level, an unmarked police sedan screamed down the streets, heading downtown, haphazardly overtaking and passing slower-moving vehicles that pulled over to let the unmarked car pass. The car's siren squealed between the buildings of the avenue like a wailing banshee, blowing through traffic lights and intersections, with many other vehicles laying on their loud horns to make their feelings known. But the sedan persisted, picking up speed and taking more risky moves as it got closer to their downtown destination. The vehicle took a hard corner, skimming the gutter, and screeched to a halt outside the New York City Tombs, the police department's detention complex. The 4-year-old, 15-story Art Deco high-rise, called the Tombs 3, or the Manhattan House of Detention, had replaced the aging 40-year-old city prison building that sat across the street. It was an entire complex of buildings connected by both above and below-ground tunnels, which sat on the same patch of land in which the former Five Points neighborhood previously resided. With one tire up on the curb, the passenger's side door swung open, and out jumped a man hidden under a black Stetson hat and matching long black trench coat. 2 uniformed officers awaiting his arrival hastily saluted and led him into the building. As they entered the empty lobby, the motley crew picked up 2 more officers, scooted around the massive security desk, and continued down the hall. The loud staccato clapping of their dress shoes on the marble floor reverberated inside the dark, quiet corridor. The man in black rounded the corner toward the elevator bank and came face to face with a waiting group centered round the chief of police, the commissioner, and the district attorney. The man flipped his high collar down and removed his hat, handing it to one of the accompanying officers. Hands flew out, and the man in black shook them all. Without much more of a pause, the man in black led them toward a freight elevator. The group eagerly exchanged glances and hurried after their guest. They all crowded into the large lift and started to descend into the exposed elevator shaft, down in the sub-basements, passing floor after floor. As they traveled further into the bowels of the building, the visible walls and brick got older, and the paint continued to fade and peel. The group reached their destination, the lowest basement level of the facility. They exited the lift and entered an old brick hallway, illuminated only by a string of bulbs attached to the ceiling. The group passed by various sized holding cells, some that still had the 100-year-old grill-styled cell doors and peeling two-tone paint on the walls. They reached a tall, thick wooden desk with a guard stationed behind it who immediately stood to attention. He nervously handed a clipboard to the man dressed in black. The man flashed a cold smile to the young guard and handed the clipboard over his shoulder to the commissioner behind him. The commissioner, not expecting this, awkwardly juggled it and pawned it off to the man behind him, the chief of police, who signed. The man in black then dutifully started to unbutton his long black trench coat so the desk guard could see if he was armed. Underneath, he revealed a slick but plain-looking 3-piece black suit. Undoing those buttons, he opened his jacket and flashed a .45 automatic, holstered under his arm, to the guard, who acknowledged it. The man then plopped his foot up on the desk and hiked up his pant leg to show his backup .38 on his ankle. The desk guard nodded and turned to indicate they were now all allowed to pass. The group continued past the desk, further down the hall toward the very last cell, which was guarded by 2 officers. The cell door that they stood in front of only had an eye-level slit opening that offered a view inside. A third plain-clothed officer waited to greet the large party. His suit was stained, ripped, and torn. His name was Sergeant Ambrosio. He extended a hand to the man in black, who ignored it and peered past him through the peephole into the cell. "Is he conscious?" the man in black asked, his first words since he'd arrived at the Manhattan House of Detention. Yes, he is, sir," Ambrosio replied. "We just got back from the hospital. He needed patching up." "How is he now?" "He's been stabilized." "Okay. How long has he been in custody?" the man asked. "About an hour and a half. I was with him when this all happened." "Has anyone debriefed him?" "I spoke to him. I've been working with him since the beginning, so I can appraise you on everything I know." "I will certainly read your report once you submit it, Sergeant." Ambrosio made eye contact with the brass standing behind their guest, who all glared right back at him.